तो वहीं सोनीपत में ओपी जिंदल यूनिवर्सिटी में 3 दिवसीय सेमिनार में संविधान से जुड़े अलग अलग मुद्दों पर चर्चा चल रही है। इस सेमिनार में लोकसभा अध्यक्ष ओम बिरला भी शिरकत करने वाले हैं। इस कड़ी में शनिवार को राज्यसभा सांसद कार्तिकेय शर्मा ने सेमिनार को संबोधित किया और 75 साल में विधायिका, कार्यपालिका, न्यायपालिका और मीडिया की भूमिका पर अपने विचार प्रकट किए।
That doesn't mean that they start fighting out day and night. Forefathers, while drafting the constitution and during the discussions of the Constituent Assembly, wanted to build a system of checks and balances, and that was the basic premise. Not to say go to the extent and say that perhaps they did not, believe or have faith in the legislature or the people who will be elected. It's like if I were to draw a comparison. It's like making Indian judiciary devoid of the jury system, for instance. Are we trying to say that we were not confident of our citizens to do justice? That's why we were devoid of the jury system as well. So I think it is a far bigger issue. It is to be seen for what it's worth. We have diversity, we have cultural, religious tones, we have multiple problems and multiple challenges. And somewhere they understood that what would be the relevance of the directive principles and what not to do should be defined rather than what to do. It's my take, my deduction from that. And when we talk about politicizing judiciary, or we talk about it the other way around, I think both cannot be separated from each other and seen by a different prism. Both have to be seen in the same light, because neither the judiciary nor the political class are an island. They're a part of the society, a part of the fabric. They do coexist, and they are supposed to actually act as a system of check and balances. And I'll just disagree a little bit with one of my panelists who said the 3 pillars, because there is a 4th pillar which is not spoken of as well, which is the media. And very often, it's the media that comes to the forefront to get the 3 pillars to do the job. And somewhere, the guaranteeing the freedom of the media or your expression was I think the biggest challenge which our forefathers could envisage at a point of time when media had a very different meaning or understanding of what it will become in times to come. So, to put it simply, I mean, yes, there is politicization of judiciary, and yes, it works the other way around. The separation of power in the system of checks and balances is made to ensure that all the verticals work in tandem the way they're supposed to work. But unfortunately, sometimes it is put to test, and I'll give you an example of that. We have members from both the houses, from the lower and the upper house here, and to which my senior colleague was just mentioning to the NJAC. Now, I don't know how many of you would remember, because it's almost 9 years back, but back then, except for one member of parliament in our house, every member of parliament voted for that bill. So it was not even partisan. You can't even say that there was political differences or ideological differences when it came to it. It was the will of the electorate put together in unison across party lines, which felt that there has to be accountability. It might not have been as we would ideally want it, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. And it was addressing many issues which were not being addressed. So at no point in time was the judiciary supposed to be completely unchecked. That was not the intent of the Constitution either. So my humble submission is that while we talk of it, in a democracy, which is an evolutionary process per se, you cannot take the ultimate right from the people away in the name of directive principles or fundamental rights. Those principles have their own place, and a democracy and the franchise that the average person in this country has its own merit and cannot be replaced. It is truly irreplaceable. And that's why the independence of media is another thing which might not be prescribed very clearly in the Constitution. But what not to do is prescribed very clearly, which goes a very, very long way in being able to protect it. I mean, if at all I would go in the reverse direction and say that the judiciary did not get influenced by the political classes during the emergency. And one of the reasons was that, and on the opposite side. So, I think it is a system of checks and balances. We need to get it right. Every vertical has its own role, and we all need to play it. But it's very, very difficult when, when the accountability is fixed for all verticals except one.
तो फिलहाल बुलेटिन में मेरे साथ बस इतना ही। प्रदेश की तमाम खबरों के लिए आप देखते रहिए इंडिया न्यूज हरियाणा।